Hello everybody, this is Rosalind from the Conscious CEO Experience, and today we're doing, for the very first time, CEO Wisdom Wednesdays. And so for those of you who were tuning in on Facebook Live Fridays, I want to thank you for joining us on Fridays, and just decided that based on feedback and based on sort of optimal time to be sharing these broadcasts, that I'm switching over to Wednesdays instead. And I just feel like doing one midweek as opposed to end of week. Hopefully you'll be able to join us, and it doesn't feel like, you know, cutting into your relaxation, TGIF, or even happy hour time. Hello, whoever's watching. I'm sorry I can't see you. Type in a comment so that I can find out who you are. Oh, hi, Mariah. I'm not sure if I'm doing this on my wall or in my Facebook Conscious Community group. Hopefully it's supposed to be in the Conscious CEO Community group. So I hope I'm in the right place. Anyways, so this is the month of May. It's our second broadcast on the theme of ethical marketing. And so as you know, every month we have a new theme. And last week I talked about the importance of positioning in marketing, and as well as the two other ways that we may be applying marketing or doing our marketing, and that is posturing and performing, and how important it is to make sure that we are doing that in integrity and in alignment with our values, making sure that it's, you know, doesn't come across as manipulative or deceitful or even fake, which happens a lot in the business world. And this week, I'm so excited to share about the topic of really how to do marketing in a way that really wows your customers and win them, win their loyalty. Most businesses that I know want to win customers, not just for the first time, but multiple times over and over for as long as they can, right? So like attracting customers or acquiring customers is really just the first step. You know, like it's a lot easier actually to keep a customer than to try and get a new customer. It's just like dating. So when you think of dating, you know, it's like pretty hard to, you know, like get that date or get that committed relationship. But as soon as, what most people do, this is just human psychology, is after they've, you know, gotten that relationship or maybe they've gotten that commitment, it's really easy to just cruise and get comfortable and stop putting in the effort that they first put in the beginning in order to, you know, get that partner, beloved, boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband. Oh no, sorry, something happened with my phone. And it can be really easy to lose that original connection that we had with that person. So same thing in business. You know, like it's so important to not only focus on acquiring. So it's in the old school business term, it's called customer acquisition. And most of us are focusing on acquiring customers. Doesn't matter if you have like a tiny business, small business, or you have a medium-sized business, or maybe you're a massive corporation. There's always a customer acquisition or sales aspect or department to your business, and not a whole lot of attention is paid to, you know, retaining the customer and keeping the customer. So really the topic for today is about how to create that relationship with your customer. Hi, Martin. Good to see you. How to create that relationship with the customer from the get-go that is really about setting up the stage for a long-term, very loyal relationship with them to the point where they become your fans for life. Now, I want to speak to the title of this broadcast, which is why adding value is not enough. So if you've accessed any form of business training or business coaching, you probably have seen and noticed that there is this mantra or teaching that has been going around, and that is add value. So focusing on adding value, it's now a new way to do marketing. People are now aware that you can no longer do the old school way of marketing or selling, which is about high pressure or manipulating, convincing, and all that. It's now shifted to more add value and lead with something like a gift or some information or some education, and then you would basically sit back and wait for the customer to come to you and do business with you. Now, this is a very simplistic way of putting it. There's a lot more to the concept of adding value that I'm not gonna get into, but I want to really unpack this concept of adding value, because what I've noticed, and you can tell me if you've noticed this, is that it's kind of become this catchphrase, and most people are on autopilot doing this thing called adding value. And I find that it's actually quite dangerous because even though it's such a basic and almost quintessential advice that we're given as business owners, what it has translated to, especially with our internet time. So, internet and social media has become huge channels for our marketing. What it's turned into. So the principle of adding value is totally legit and completely awesome. So adding value really, at its core is exactly how it sounds. So adding value. So making someone's life better, doing something that they consider valuable, right? But what it's turned into in our world today, in the business world, in our sort of technologically internet-based world, is that it's been equated to more information. And just like leave a comment or let me know if this is true for you or what you find. And so this is what I find too. Even some of my own mentors have been teaching me, just educate them more and give them more information. And what I find is like a lot of our customers and just people in general, even your friends or your colleagues, were literally drowning in information. And one of my mentors called this, we are surrounded by what's called info crap. And I love the way she puts it because it's so true. Like, how many of you turn on or sign on to your Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, and you have what? Like 100 notifications or, couple hundred like posts from various groups, and people are adding you to different groups or spam. I actually pulled up some statistics with regard to internet marketing and how this whole adding value idea, I feel, is taken overboard and turned into this information. It's become this information sort of overload. And here's what I mean. So there's basically these stats are actually from a few years ago, so 2015. There's 7 million blogs out there in the internet, and marketing related blogs, and there is 80% of email marketers send the same content. So if you ever hit unsubscribe and got tired of the same emails or being emailed twice a day or even 3 times a day, or some kind of ridiculous frequency like that, and 69% of people unsubscribe from these information marketing campaigns because they just get too many emails. Like, people don't want to read that many emails. 56% of them say that it's because these emails are no longer relevant, and 61% of people that are receiving these emails, they get annoyed by apps that, or on social media rather, they get annoyed by apps that post content automatically. So we can see that in the business world right now, you know, whether you're a tiny small business, medium-sized business, or a corporation, everybody's getting on the social media bandwagon. And it's not to say that there aren't any positive outcomes of that. Like, social media can be a great way to create community, give your customers an insider look at your company. Maybe it's a way to send out promotions and deals and, you know, good stuff like that. But then just be careful of how you're adding value, and be mindful of how much real value you're giving, and not just pushing out info crap. And I want us to take a look at this whole concept of value, because it's such a, I feel it's like a magic word in business, right? In business, is actually basically all about like add value, get paid, right? Find a solution for a problem, get paid. Figure out a solution for a big problem, get paid big money, right? So, and I think even as like business owners, whether you're a producer or you're a service provider or a manufacturer, whether you're a customer, we have a sense of like what value is. And I want to share 4 ways that value is understood right now. And then I want to share really how you can create real value, and not just real value that's different than just adding value and just giving more information. So these days, value is perceived or understood as like, if you give more information, you're adding more value. And I don't think that's true. And also, value can be perceived as in terms of price. So if something is cheaper, then it's more value, or you're getting a better value. That might be true from a market value perspective, but that's not really, I don't think that's necessarily true either. Value can also be perceived as in terms of volume. So, you know, think like Costco, right? The more that you get for the price, right, in terms of volume, then the better value you're getting. Again, that's true from a market value perspective, where value is understood and conceptualized as just based on like price, right? And lastly, value sometimes is understood as based on quality. So the better quality that you get, then the better value you're getting. This is true as well in terms of product and service. And not saying that none of these are cut and dried, right? I'm not saying they're not legitimately considered valuable in the marketplace, but I really want you to consider the difference between market value and real value. So market value is basically the price, okay, that a customer is willing to pay for something, and the perceived sort of, you know, like, here's $5 for this, I don't know, like taco, right, that I'm buying. That's market value, right? And what I really want to speak to you and encourage you to think about when you're doing your marketing is think about real value. And what is the difference? My biggest sort of piece of steak, if you will, I feel like the last 10 minutes was maybe like sizzle, right? Like kind of preamble. The biggest piece of steak that I want to offer you during this broadcast is to consider beyond market value, okay? Beyond the sort of ordinary concept of adding value, which is adding information or, you know, like lowering your price, giving more volume, or bettering your quality. This is all good, you know, we all have figured that out. But what I want you to consider is real value. And this is a little bit cutting edge and a little bit, edgy, right? Because it probably doesn't exist. in the Harvard Business School yet. Maybe it does, I'm not sure. But in my experience, real value is basically when your business or company offers something, whether it's a product or a service that is number one, priceless. So you can determine what that sort of priceless element is, right? I can't tell you what that is until I've looked at your business. You're offering real value when you're offering something that's transformative, right? So like life-changing or changing their business in some way, and cannot be duplicated. So I'm reminded of, like China, and China is an interesting market to study because they're all about like copying everyone else, right? And so how do you stay competitive? How do you stay top of mind for your customers and clients? Well, you actually would apply the principles of real value, which I'm giving to you, right? So all the market value stuff, those are basic, elementary, and in some ways overused already. Like everyone knows that, right? Add more information, lower your price, or give them a better deal in terms of price, compete on price, offer more, whatever. But when you use real value as the foundation for your marketing and your services, you'll find that you'll get to a point where you make your competition irrelevant because of what you have is so unique. Kind of like, Apple, right? What you have is so unique that, nobody else can do it. And that creates the competitive advantage for you and your business and your service. I actually have a whole workshop on this, so I won't go through the entire content. I'm just giving you sort of the high-level Coles Notes executive summary of what this is all about. So what are 3 ways that you can go beyond adding value and avoiding the info crap trap, right? Which we all get into, which, like, whether you're marketing, you're a marketer, or whether you're the receiving end, like, I think people are just drowning, overloaded in info crap. And instead, what I encourage you to do these 3 things and apply them in your business and let me know how it works. Okay, so number 1 is really being present, and instead of like just doing more or like giving more information, just listen to your customer or client. What do I mean by that? So a really practical way to do this, especially in our sort of hyper technological world right now, is I encourage you to host an open house or customer client appreciation day or reception or something like that to encourage your customers or clients to all be in one room together, or any of your other business associates, suppliers, or even partners, and just do it for the sake of being present with them and listening to what's going on in their world and in their business, right? See, this is not directly about marketing, but it is marketing because it's building that relationship. So focus on building those relationships and being present and listening, as opposed to just pushing out a bunch of information or a bunch of other activities that's adding value. So if you really want to add value through building relationships and listening closely to your customers and your clients and getting them face-to-face or getting FaceTime with them as much as possible. And if you're in a business that you can't do that for some reason, then maximize your FaceTime and get their feedback. What do they like, what they don't like, what else can you do for them? That's adding real value as opposed to just pushing stuff in their face, right? Get their feedback. So that's the first way. And the second way is really focusing on, again, actually piggybacking on the last point, and that is, instead of like, I'll tell you right now, I was at a meeting yesterday with a director of a pretty large organization in Vancouver, and he was sharing about the recent changes in the if you're a small medium-sized business, this might actually be a big deal for you. There's now a new payroll tax coming, and we're all on the hook for it. and it's a big impact on small to medium-sized businesses, especially when they do have payroll. And so this director was sort of expressing his concern about how this is going to affect his organization when they're paying anywhere between 3 to 5 million in payroll, and that equates to, you know, whatever 5 figures of additional payroll tax. And he was actually quite concerned and stressed about revenue, right? And he, you know, was asking everybody, you know, how can we increase revenue, right? And increase our sales. Now, that's a legitimate way to think of this, and any business owner, you know, your mind is gonna go there. But I encourage you to actually lift yourself from that position, even just for a minute, and consider focusing on service instead of selling. It's like almost like, you know, don't focus too much on trying to sell, but focus on giving outstanding service. So here's an example. Let's say you own a hair salon, and you cut hair, and you employ hairstylists that also cut hair, right? And let's say you're wanting to increase your revenues. A way to do this that is a lot deeper than just, you know, I don't know, trying to give discounts or doing a referral program. Most salons do this. Consider doing it in a way that gives your customers an added experience, right? So as an example, maybe you partner up with someone who does mobile massage, right? You may not do it yourself, but maybe you know someone who does, and that offering that sort of service to the people who get their hair cut. And maybe you offer aromatherapy, maybe you offer detoxing products. So you're adding value in a way that already enhances the customer experience and the service that you're offering, right? And in that way, I mean, you know, I actually have someone who I go to get my hair done, and she does all these things, and now I can't even bring myself to go somewhere else because she's added so much value to my haircut experience. Do you see what I mean? So think of something creative, not just, you know, giving people info crap or the usual sort of, you know, marketing tactics. Really go outside the box if you can and give people that unforgettable experience. Remember, transformative, priceless, cannot be duplicated. And the third way you can really wow your customers is to lead by example. What do I mean by that? You know, I feel like leadership, and as if you've been watching, following me for a while, you know I'm big on this. I feel like leadership is such an underrated aspect of business, and in fact, it's like the bedrock of business, right? And so, how you can wow your customers really is to prioritize looking at how you're being in your business, not just, you know, like how you're showing up to your day and, you know, responding to maybe clients or customer inquiries or potential business, but really how you feel about your business, right? If you're feeling like your business is running you down, well, it's going to show up in how you deliver your business, right? But if you're feeling energized and inspired, then it's going to show up a different way. People feel these things, even right down to the end customer, whether you're, you know, CEO or C-suite executive or director at the top. How you feel in your leadership, people are going to feel it right down to the end customer level. Looking at your inner game and how you make decisions, how much time and effort you put into, you know, coming up with new ways to build your employee or team morale, build up leaders in your organization. All of that is going to translate to what? A lot more memorable experiences for your customers, because the way you're showing up and adding value, right? You may not even do anything extra other than just pay attention to how you're showing up and your attitude, and you'd be surprised how your customers and clients respond to that, right? Because they're getting an experience that they can't get somewhere else, right? Anybody can give more information. Anybody can educate, right? Anybody can lower your prices, you know, anybody can like, you know, add more volume, right? More quantity, whatever, like give some kind of deal. But these are the things when you're getting FaceTime, being present, listening, when you're focusing on being of service rather than just selling, right? And when you're leading yourself so you can lead your team so then they can provide an outstanding customer or client experience, that's when you can add real value, right? And that's what I encourage you to do, right? Don't do what everyone else is doing. Find your way and do it really, really, really well, okay? So that is my mini teaching or training for the day. I'm not sure how much time it's been, but I'm gonna invite you to try this on, right? Apply this in your business. Let me know how it goes, and I'm gonna encourage you to send in good questions. To be honest, I don't like being a talking head. I do like giving teachings, but I don't like being a talking head. It's better for me if there's some interaction. So if you have friends or colleagues who are leaders, managers, CEOs, invite them to hop on to Facebook Live. And I'm so happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm here every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Pacific. And for the month of ethical marketing, you know, to be honest, I'm not sure if I want to do a webinar this month. And my business is also going through some changes. And I'm really wanting to offer what you guys want, right? And so watch for a survey coming out in the next couple weeks. I'm going to be revamping a lot of my services and offerings, and we're celebrating a 3rd year, and I would really appreciate your feedback and let me know what you'd like to see. So I feel like I should be wrapping up by now if there aren't any questions. Thank you again for tuning in. And until next time, remember, I believe in you and I believe that you can create extraordinary success on your own terms and from the inside out. Bye.